Good evening, everyone. My name is Lillian.
And I'm Alice.
And as always, this is BDSM Gen Y. This week, we're going to discuss red flag people. Who are they? What are some of the red flags they exhibit? And why should you care?
So the disclaimer to our usual disclaimer is you could be a perfectly good, wonderful person and still exhibit some of these creepy behaviors that we talk about. If you're exhibiting one or two, but you swear up and down you're not trying to be predatory and you don't have a clue why, these behaviors are the way they are, okay, we're probably not talking about. On the other hand, if you are exhibiting a couple of these behaviors and people seem to be responding to you poorly, maybe you can step back, take a look, and think about why you do things that way. So it might be beneficial for you to consider, even if you're not a total creeper. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, not that kind of creeper. He's been playing too much Minecraft lately.
So anyways, what is a red flag person? There are people who exhibit behaviors that
are dangerous,
possibly
could be dangerous.
Think of them as ways, little things that should be going, little alarm bells that should be going off your mind, going, you know what, maybe I should pay attention, or maybe this isn't such a good idea, or maybe I should really cut myself down and get in the car and run and hide.
Yeah, that's pretty much a good way to describe it. Red flag people are those people who set off little alarm bells in your head, whether it's subconscious and you only think about it later, or it's actually going on at the time, but you ignore it because, oh, they seem so nice.
Or I have no reason to think this way.
Or I have no reason to think this way. Yeah, it's all these things that you aren't questioning, but you probably should. And we're here to validate that feeling.
Especially the reason why you should pay attention to this is because, frankly, we do a lot of dangerous things.
There are predatory people in BDSM.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And you have to be careful.
Yeah.
They will come after you.
They smell weakness. It's like they're wolves and they sense fear. I don't know. But they can sense really nice, naive people who think the best of others and wouldn't,
Fit some of those criteria.
Yeah.
You tend to think the worst of them. But.
Well, that's now. That was then. Anyway. So the point is they will find you, and when they find you, you can either be prepared or not. And we would really much prefer you be prepared.
Absolutely.
So hopefully you can avoid some of these scary situations, or at least think twice about them before you get in the car with Johnny so-and-so you only met the night before.
Our first piece of advice, absolutely positively, never play with someone in private the first time you play with them, no matter how much you have talked to them.
No.
I know that it's scary to go out to a local dungeon. I know that playing in public has got a whole host of its own fears. I understand. Don't do it.
Well, don't play in private. Do play in public.
Do play in public, because then there's somebody to save you if something goes wrong.
They have dungeon monitors. They have witnesses for a reason. If you go and take your own life into your hands...
bad things can and will happen to you. I knew a nice lady who requested my help, and I tried to get her to not play in private, and she did. Bad things happened to her. So please, just don't. It doesn't matter what reassurances they give you. Just don't.
Don't do it.
And if you absolutely, positively, 100% must, set up safe calls.
Set up safe calls, and if you possibly can, bring a friend with you.
Yeah.
Seriously. Don't be alone with that person.
Be as safe as you can be, and then play in private after you've established a relationship with them. And you know that they're not going to hurt you.
At least not in the ways you don't want them to.
At least not in the ways you don't want to. There we go. In this case, we're talking about harm instead of hurt.
Right.
So.
Also, these people can be dominant or submissive. The behaviors are pretty much the same across the board. Yep. They exhibit a little bit differently if it's in a submissive personality rather than a dominant personality, but the red flags are pretty much the same. Yep. So I'm going to talk about these like it's anybody. This could be anybody.
And if you believe that you have nothing to fear as a dominant from someone who is tied up and at your mercy, you are naive.
Think again.
You are naive.
Think again.
You are naive. There are legal ramifications. There are all kinds of terrible things that can happen to you as a dominant, even if they never touch you.
Yep.
So.
The first one we want to talk about is just what we mentioned before, someone's over-eagerness to meet in private. They are reticent to meet you at a coffee shop. They don't want to meet you at a dungeon. They don't want to meet you at the mall. They are begging for you to come over to their house, but you've never met them before. And they don't want to do it any other way. Okay, that's a little creepy. Why?
And it's dangerous.
Why do they want you to meet them at their house? Why are they so afraid to be seen in public?
The typical answer is, oh, I'm so shy. But shy people tend not to have over-eagerness to do something with somebody else.
So the real answer to that might be, I'm married and I don't want you to find out, or I'm planning to do horrible, horrible things to you as soon as I get you locked up.
Yeah.
And you just don't know until it's too late. So consider that one. Okay. Next one is paranoia about disclosing personal information. Now, we understand that BDSM is
kind of secretive
hobby and can be really dangerous if you get outed. And obviously, you want to be careful about who you share your info with, especially like your real name and where you work and that sort of thing. We totally get that. That's not what we're saying at all. What we're saying is if the person you want to play with won't tell you anything about themselves other than, I'm dominant so-and-so and I want to beat you senseless, and that's the only thing they ever say, and they won't talk about anything else, that might be a sign that there's more going on and they can't tell you about who they are for a very good reason.
Or you're being gamed.
Or you're being gamed.
Because they're trying to create a false sense of mystery.
Yeah.
Either way, not someone you want to be playing with because they're trying to manipulate you.
Pretty much. So then the next one is something I like to call love bombing. They make you feel amazing, like you're on a pedestal right off the bat. They want to collar you and move in with you in like a week, and you've only met them a day ago. You know, they think you're the best, most amazing thing ever, and no one could ever compare to you. All their girlfriends were crap in the past. All their boyfriends were horrible abusers. You are God's own.
But the second that you disagree or you do something that they don't like, all of it stops, and all of it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You're terrible, you're awful, you're the worst person that's ever existed, why would you do this, I did all of these things for you, blah, 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 blah.
Basically, please watch how they treat other people who aren't in a relationship with them.
Because they'll probably treat you like that eventually.
That is how they will treat you someday.
So if they're dismissive and rude to the waiter, they'll probably be dismissive or rude to you eventually.
Yeah. Another one is pushing boundaries off the bat, right off the bat.
Your boundaries are there for a reason.
Your boundaries are there for a reason. They should be pushed slowly, and they should be pushed, as time goes on. Certainly not right away.
And without your permission.
It's also not something you should ever have to do, pushing your boundaries as proof that you want to be with someone. You don't have anything to prove to them. You have jack all to prove to them, just like they have jack all to prove to you.
Yeah.
And if they demand, well, you prove that you want to serve me, or prove that you want to master me, you should demand the same thing right back. It's a two-way street.
Yep.
So.
And it should always be a two-way
It should always be a two-way street. No one should ever be demanding something that they're not willing to pony up in exchange.
Yep.
Denigrating, dismissing, or otherwise making you feel bad about yourself without your permission.
Yep, which is very self-explanatory. Humiliation play can be a lot of fun. You should want it.
Yeah.
And if you don't want it, it's going to be destructive. And it's very easy for it to become destructive even if you do want it.
Yeah.
So
please be careful about people who make you feel bad about yourself. Or sling around, words that are hurtful.
Yep. And last but not least, people who make you question your own reality, i.e. they have a reality warping bubble.
So when you're with them, everything's great. The world is sunny, and they are always right. As soon as you get away from them, though, and you go back home,
things
you start
seem off.
To think about it, and it feels a little funky. And what was he doing with that giraffe and that zebra anyway? And I'm a little confused now, and that doesn't feel right. And was she really his sister?
Mostly, pay attention to your instincts. If something feels off, listen to it.
Yeah.
We don't listen to our instincts enough in modern society. You definitely should in this. You may pick up on something subconsciously that you haven't picked up on consciously, and it could save your life. And you may never know that, and you may feel guilty for it. Trust me, it's better feeling guilty than having it happen.
Absolutely. If you have any other questions about this, please
email us.
Email us. I could go on about this forever.
Yes, she can.
So
we haven't decided what our next topic is, so it's just going to be a big surprise. If you have something you'd like to hear about that we haven't discussed yet, feel free to email us, actually.
Yeah, let us know.
Until then, I'm Lilin.
I'm Alice.
And this has been BDSM Gen Y. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.